Alrighty, we are back. I'm sure most of you guys know at this point that Dokkan is going to be going over a massive overhaul in terms of updates heading into 2025. And what I want to do in this video is go over every individual change and talk about what they are going to be impacting for the game, just in case you guys did not see the producer letter. So we want to go ahead and get into those changes. This is going to be a very big update, like I said, one that we really haven't seen in terms of like quality and overhaul like ever, right? We've come a long way. This game is 10 years old at this point, and it seems that the devs are starting to finally kind of see that, like, based on feedback and stuff like that, that maybe the game could use some visual improvements. Now, I think there are some areas with the improvements that are vastly improved, and there are some areas where it's just okay, right? Overall, I think that it's for the better that these changes are happening, but there are a few things that I think could be a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one, and that is going to be mainly pertaining to passive skills. Now, you guys know, gameplay wise, nothing is really changing in terms of like how the game is actually played. It's all kind of just cosmetic, right? But this first thing right here is going to be the passive skill details button. So if we press this right now, you guys can see we have this long, it does literally, for the one on Beast Gohan, it literally does not even fit on the screen. Like, this is what the passive skill is going to look like. And so with this, the devs are aiming to sort of make this so it is a lot easier to read. And how are they going to be doing that? We're going to be going back and forth between this and the producer letter. So if we head over to the producer letter, you guys can see we are going to be updating this now. So there are bullet points and stuff like that and headers for each different effect. So it's just much easier to read and much easier to understand. There's really no negatives to this, right? You guys can see, especially with the UI Goku being the example here, you guys can see everything that the character is going to be doing, and it's going to be just a lot easier to read. So rather than this format that we have right now, where we have just an essay right here, we are going to have a more organized bullet point format. So it's going to be a whole lot easier to break down characters in game and stuff like that. It's probably going to result in a lot less having to use like Dokkan info and things like that in order to show you guys what change is going to be happening with that. So passive skills going to be a lot easier to read. Let's go ahead and move on to the next update. So for this next section, we actually have to go into the game here. I went into just some random event. Doesn't matter whatsoever, but what we need to do is see the board to understand the overall changes that are going to be coming to the UI of the game. So the first thing that is going to be changing, the HP meter is going to be changing, right? It's no longer going to be the way that it is with the bars like this. The increments are going to be different. The bottom is going to look different. Where the menu button is going to be relocated, and the team wheel on the bottom is no longer going to exist. It is going to say, I'll show you in a moment, but it is going to say next character and then the next 3 characters coming up on the rotation. So it's going to be a lot easier to understand rather than having to look through the sort of like wheel and be like, okay, who's getting skipped over and stuff like that. It's just going to say like so like, just for an example, right? It'll say Team Bardock, Fasha, and Bojack are the next characters on the rotation. So as long as we all understand that. So this is what the old version looks like. Let's go ahead and check out the new version here over in the game. So you guys can see a very different look, and just kind of quickly going through this, you guys can see the HP is no longer 186,000 out of 186,000. It says 186,000 with 100%. The exact HP number, especially like the HP that you have number, it obviously matters in terms of like how it, like the game works, but in terms of like what you need, that information, like exactly how much HP you have doesn't really matter in terms of like visually appealing, right? So the percentage is a lot more important than knowing. So like, let's just say, for example, right, you have like 80% HP, right? So rather than it saying like 100 something thousand out of 186,000, it just says you have 80% HP remaining, right? That's what you really need to know. And now you can see where the HP mark is. You guys can't see my cursor, but where the HP is on the bottom of the screen, there is now the increments of 5, so it is going to be 20% HP increments rather than 10% HP increments. So a little bit simpler, just concising things down. I think that is good. And I was talking about the team wheel earlier on the right side of the screen, and now it is going to be the next characters up option here, and you guys are going to see that it says that Gohan, and Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien are going to be the next 3 characters available. So if we go back to the game, it is no longer going to look that way. The 3 characters here, it's just going to say the next 3 characters are Fasha, Bojack, and Team Bardock. So a little bit easier to understand with the wheel, because especially when you start to get into things like characters get skipped over and stuff like that with rotations. So a lot simpler for the player to understand, but again, it is going to be a bit uncanny valley, if you will, just because we're just not used to that, right? So the menu button is now going from the bottom right to the top right of the screen. If we go back here, you guys can see it is up there. And also the numbers for the board are going to look a little bit different as well. So those are all of the different things that are changing in terms of the board. Let's go ahead and look and see the old animation for starting a fight, and then we will watch the new animation for starting a fight over here. We're not going to have sound for the video, but it will work out just fine. So what we quickly need to do is just get to the fight board, and this is where things get a little bit crazy, right? Things like really start to change. So let's go ahead and hop in, and you guys are going to see it says boss battle, and then this is the versus screen for the fight. So all stuff that we're used to. Now I'm going to let the video play a little bit and show you the differences between this and the old version and the new version here. So if we just let this play, you guys are going to see the versus is much different now. So now it goes like this, much better looking in my opinion, from what we had in the past. And then this is how passive skills are going to look now. So a lot of different things changing, right? We'll get into this in a moment, but a lot of things looking much better in terms of the update. So the next thing that we need to talk about, we need to go back into the game for this. You can see just from looking while we're here, right, that the attack is looking different. This probably means defense is going to be shown as well with one number, and the effects of the enemy are here, and the HP bar looks different as well. The menu button being in a different spot, the item button being in a different spot. It looks way different, but I think all in all, it is going to be much better moving forward. I think that this is a really good update for the game, just because it is a nice fresh coat of paint for being 10 years in. So what we need to do is go back to the game and make the comparisons, right? What is changing here? So if we are in the fight, you guys can see I probably should have chose a boss with a big HP bar, but you guys know what the Dokkan HP bar looks like at this point, right? I don't think I really need to go over that. But one major change that, like I said, is happening here, the item button is moving, the HP is going to look much different, and the next character is also going to be changing as well. The menu button is going to be relocated. Just a lot of really good quality of life changes. So the next thing that we are going to be seeing in this video is the sprites of characters. They're actually going to be changing. Now, when this update happens, it's not going to just be like one-to-one. Every single character is going to have a unique sprite animation, but that is something we are going to be seeing moving forward. So if you guys don't know, the sprite is what's bouncing up and down right here, where Bardock is what's going up and down. These are the sprites of the character. So if you don't pay attention to it, which honestly I completely understand, if I put Fasha in slot 1, it now changes to Fasha. If I put Bojack in slot 1, it changes to Bojack, right? So you guys can see it's just the back of a character going up and down. But now with this update, what they're actually going to be changing is making the characters have animations tied to their personality, quote unquote, right? Or like a transformation. So we're going to watch that in real time. There's a Kid Goku and a Super Saiyan Goku that will be showing that. And it's going to overall, I think, make the game just have a little bit more flair and make the characters a little more personable. And we're just going to be able to just have more fun and a more visually appealing experience for Dokkan. So let's go ahead and head back over to the browser, and you guys are going to see this right here. If we watch Kid Goku on the bottom left here while the video decides to load, Kid Goku is now spinning his power pole, right? The tail moves and Goku actually transforms into a Super Saiyan. So very cool stuff. This is going to be a massive change moving forward. And then the biggest change, I gotta pause it here. You guys can see that we're about to get changed. We're about to do some crazy stuff here. This is one of the bigger parts of this update. But the way this is going to work, the game is going to be changing a whole lot, right? So you guys can see sprites don't do anything. Now, let me do this really quickly just to show you the last major change that we are going to be seeing for the overhaul of the game here, and that is going to be the normal attack animation. So if we let this turn play out, watch the normal attack for Bojack. It's just, that's what the attack looks like, and then that is what a normal looks like, right? It's good that that happened because we didn't need to see a super, but that is what a normal attack looks like. Now, what Dokkan is going to aim to be doing is actually changing the way that normal attacks look, and they want them to feel more like they are straight out of the Dragon Ball Z experience. And I think that that overall is a really good quality change because that's just something that we have not really seen before. And it's, again, just something that people have been wanting for a long time. It's just like a different set for normal attacks and stuff like that. So let's go back over to the browser here and we will check this out. So you guys can see just from looking at this, Goku and Vegeta are already engaged in a more real looking fight with the swing kick and stuff like that. It's not just a bunch of punches, but I can only say so much. Let's just go ahead and watch how this plays out. So Goku clearly more animations, the camera is moving more, the characters are doing a lot more. So this is what normal attacks are going to look like now. So it is straight out of the fight. That is like a blast, and then the just like look at how different this is, right? This literally looks like a Dragon Ball fight happening right now, like for Dokkan standards, right? Like for a mobile game, this looks really, really good. So that is what these normals are looking like. They're still going, and obviously this will be on 2x speed in normal cases, but you guys can see things are changing pretty drastically now. And as well as the numbers, you guys saw the numbers as well. The KO screen is changing. A whole lot of things are changing about the game. So that is pretty big. These are going to be major changes moving forward. The game, that's really all we have so far in terms of like what to expect from this update. The KO screen looks different. There are just a lot of visual overhauls that the game needed. And overall, I think that this is going to be a good change for the game. So that's everything you need to know about the massive 2025 update right now. Character details are changing, and there's a lot of visual overhauls coming to the game to make it look a lot better. So 2025 for Dokkan is looking to be a great year already. 2024 was probably the best year in this game's history in terms of just quality. So let me know down below, what are you guys excited for it? This is basically Dokkan 2. That's kind of the funny meme about this. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next one.